Good morning, my friends. Some years ago, of the many books that Ty has written, one of my favorites is one that is called No Mud, No Lotus, The Art of Transforming Suffering. And the meaning behind the title is that without mud, the beautiful lotus flower would not grow. And the lotus flower, which is a symbol of freedom and awakening in the Buddhist tradition, always grows in the ickiest and muddiest and most undesirable places. Ty would say that the secret to happiness is to acknowledge and transform suffering, to become mindfully capable of doing this, and not to run away from it or cover it up by consuming. But when we learn how to practice mindfulness, we become able to embrace pain and settle it down with mindful breathing and deep concentration. It occurred to me some years ago that across many spiritual traditions, the idea and the reality of suffering and how we respond to it will make all the difference in our capacity to open to spiritual growing. So in this next series of meditations, I want to offer you some of the wisdom from this book, because unless we become able to mindfully face our suffering, which every one of us has, we can't be present and available to life, and the happiness or joy of life will continue to elude us all too often. So let us be seated and be steady. Steady in your breathing as it gently moves in and out of your body. Notice how that happens, and allow yourself to feel that gratitude for the breath that knows exactly how to keep you alive, and does so just like that. Keep your awareness with each in-breath and out-breath. Be present right now with your in-breath and your out-breath, right in this very moment. And acknowledge what you feel in your heart at this moment. If there is suffering, recognize it and greet it with compassion. Welcome. I see you, and I am here for you. And bring to mind exactly what this suffering is related to in your daily life. Maybe a doubt, or a burden, or a regret, or sometimes simply anger at how difficult some things in life we thought were simple are not. Don't be afraid to welcome your suffering, but as you bring to mind an episode in which you suffered most recently, stay in your body, in the present, and in your breath, and let it anchor you, steady you, calm your breathing. Notice what happens when you imagine that suffering and really allow yourself to feel it. What happens to your breath? And bring it back. Gentle in-breath, gentle out-breath, until you notice your body becoming even more steady as you sit. Maybe even as your mind or your heart feels the hurt of that suffering. and stay present with it in your compassion for that suffering place inside of you. You see, when we try to resist suffering, it only tangles us up in a knot. A knot of what? A knot of resistance. Resistance to life, just as it is. From there, it is so easy to fall into regret or apprehension, guilt about the past, or anxiety about the future, and what happens to the moment of the present. It disappears. And yet that is where we are. And so in this first practice, we learn to sit with suffering and bring back into your mind the place that you visited, where you suffer. Allow yourself to be aware of where in your body you feel that the most. Just let it reveal itself as tightness, constriction, agitation. Where do you feel suffering when it hits you? For me, I feel it in the front part of my chest and my lower throat, and it's constricting. I feel my breath getting more shallow, and I want to move. I want to distract myself with something, but I return to the steadiness of the gift of my breathing, gently, full breath, in-breath and out-breath, as I try to hold that suffering with compassion. Much of my suffering has to do with uncertainty and with a certain kind of brokenheartedness that when I suffer feels very heavy and tight. So bring your awareness to where your suffering today lives in your body. Could be anywhere. Ask the suffering to show you so you know where it lives. And why do we do this? One simple reason is that the body is always in the present. It can't be anywhere else but the present. And so breathing mindfully in our bodies brings us to the present and brings us with practice to steadiness. And so as we come to the close of this journey, the beginning of compassion for suffering, it lives within all of us because that's what life offers in times of struggle. Welcome, suffering. I know that you suffer, and I'm here for you. Please teach me what I need to know, and I will be here for you and hold you steady while you do. Keep your awareness with your breathing as you go out, my friends, and with noticing in your body any moment that arises where you feel a sense of resistance or suffering, and practice. Thai offers a number of practices, and we'll go through them together. Namaste. Amen.